If you're looking to add a clothing rail like the one behind me today to your room, stay tuned for today's video. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I am the style coach. This channel is all about personal style and personal branding. So if that is your thing, please make sure to join the community here by subscribing, hit the like button if you learned something new, and let's get going with today's video. This one comes in as a request from a subscriber. Thank you very much. You were asking me, how do you choose a good clothing rack, a good clothing rail? And I thought about this a lot myself when I was purchasing mine. And I thought about what I would recommend for people to ask themselves when purchasing it. And I said, you know what, let me make this a video. I think it's going to help a lot of people. So there's a few key things that I would encourage you to consider before going ahead and buying your clothing rail. Let's get into them. The first thing is consider the space in which you are going to be putting your clothing rack. If you have a very small room, you're going to want to keep things in proportion to that room. Otherwise, you could end up making this a feature of the room. I'm guessing that you don't want to make your clothing rail a feature of the room unless you are perhaps a stylist or, you're doing this on camera and you need it in the background like myself. So consider the room and the space you have in it and take the measurements of the room perhaps. Take the measurements of the space that you have and make sure that you choose a clothing rail that's going to fit into this and not be lost in the space if you have a very large space. And of course, it's not going to take over the space either. So consider your room first of all. The next thing to consider is, well, what do you need this clothing rail for? What is the function for it? This might seem a little bit obvious. Well, I need to hang up clothes. Yes. I bought mine to feature some clothes that I would use in videos. I didn't need it to hold a heavy amount of clothes. So I didn't need it to be an everyday functioning rail in my wardrobe. I just needed a few pieces to display on it. Really, it was for display. So my question for you is, do you need to hang your entire wardrobe on this, in which case you're going to need something that's heavy duty? Or do you need it for planning your outfits on a daily basis, for example? And that's something I encourage my clients to do. Plan your outfit the night before, have it somewhere where you can see it. And in this case, a very small rail, a very narrow rail is going to do the trick. You only need maybe 2, 3, 4 items probably on this rail and you are done. So again, think about, well, what am I going to use this rail for? Is it going to be somewhere to store all my wardrobe? Is it going to be my wardrobe? Or is it just going to be a lightweight thing that I can just put a few items on? Think about what you need it for and choose with this in mind. On that note, this leads me on to the weight that you're going to be putting onto your rail. So the rail that you buy will tell you how much weight it can withstand, and that's going to give you an idea of how much you can put on this rail without it collapsing. And I've heard of this happening with a few people before. You don't want that to happen. What you're looking at behind me is my winter coats on this rail, and each of those can be quite heavy, and that's probably the maximum I would put on this rail. I wouldn't want to put much more because the rail that I have here, I bought just to put a few items for display, for videos. And so this is probably at its max right here. So do go ahead and check the weight that your potential rail could hold. The other thing that was very important for me that I wanted to consider is, do I want to hang accessories on my rail? Some rails come with just kind of a flat edge to it where you can't hang any hats or any jewelry on, or they can come with a little bit of an extra piece on the end, which is perfect for hanging necklaces or hats, which I've got on the other end as well. So you've got to think about, well, what else do I want to put onto my rail? Do I need it for accessories? If I do, then maybe I need to have those little features on it as well. So consider that when you're buying your clothing rail. Next up, footwear. Do you need a place to put your footwear if you're planning your outfit? Some of these rails will come with a platform on the bottom where you can put footwear or maybe even handbags. So they're elevated off the floor and you can put your footwear or your handbags here. Is that something you need? Is it something you want? Maybe you have a place dedicated for the storage of footwear and bags already and you don't need that. That's going to influence the type of rail you buy as well. Mine has a platform there. I like to keep some handbags, some footwear there, again, for the purpose of YouTube videos or my online course videos. This is when I use those areas. They're really handy, and I can put something underneath that platform as well, and it works super. Lastly, you'll want to consider the material or the color of your clothing rail. So depending on the environment that you're in, do you want something a little bit modern? Do you want it shabby chic? So consider your space and whether it's going to fit into your environment, fit into your decor. This works well for me. I like the contrast against the white wall behind me, and it doesn't tarnish too easily either. So it's hard wearing, and that's what I needed. So I hope this video helps you make a better decision when it comes to choosing a clothing rail. It certainly took me a while to come to a decision on mine, but when I did, I was really happy with my decision. It was easy to put together. I did it myself, and you end up seeing it in a lot of my videos as well. So I make great use out of it. I've had it a few years now. So really, it was a great decision, and I feel like if you follow these tips, that you'll also make a great decision in your purchase as well. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it or learned something new, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you again next week. Take care.